With all the releases that have been coming out in the world today, it's been nice to see some of the games actually hitting the Steam charts top 10 list instead of the same old boring names in the list that we've seen over the past couple of years. Today we're going to be talking about HellDivers 2 and the very slow climb that I've had inside of the game. But before we get into any of the details, my name is Gummerak, and I want to thank you guys very much for helping me reach the goal of 1,000 subscribers. We managed to crush that goal, and I can't thank you guys enough for your constant support on the channel. Thank you very much. For those of you that are new here, make sure you hit that subscription button, hit the bell notification, because my video uploads are rather sporadic at the moment. Just like everybody else, inflation has hit our family pretty hard, so I've been putting in a lot of extra hours in order to stay afloat. You can always catch us over on Twitch at 8 p.m. Central to right around midnight, Monday through Thursday, and you can even see the games that we're playing on the channel. Stick around till after the description to see what my opinions are on the game after playing it. Now let's talk about a little bit about what HellDivers 2 actually is. The game comes in as an action, online, co-op, third-person shooter with a few added extra touches in between that have events and extractions that your teams have to do in either to avoid getting penalties and maximize your total payout on each of your runs. The game allows a maximum group size of 4 players that have their own weaponry and armor sets that they can carry, as well as being able to call in large artillery strikes and orbital call-ins from your personal battleship. Each one of these call-ins is called a stratagem, and they have several different titles and categories that they fall into, allowing you to adjust your strategies on the items and call-ins that you want to use per map and mission that you are doing. On your combat map, you'll be able to select the type of missions that you want to go to see, depending on the faction that you're wanting to fight, and of course the current things that are going on in the game. There's a live GM model that is there to take a look at all the data that is coming in from the player base and make adjustments to the events and weeklies that are going on throughout the game. This is the live service model that they have decided to go with, and I'll talk a little bit more about that at the end of the show. Currently, the game is boasting 2 factions and plan on at least adding 1 more, but some data mining has showed that there could be upwards of 8 factions. That's if and or but. The game is in early access, so any of those things are subject to change. Although some of the leaks that have happened recently have come true, such as adding vehicles to the game, which was a much needed thing that we will talk more about later. The worlds and realms that you can fall into have matching aesthetics based on the type of faction you're going after, such as the bugs and or the automatons, each one of them having aesthetics to the world. Either they're darker or lighter and give off a sense of atmosphere specific to those faction types, and it's very well done. Combat for the game doesn't bring anything particularly new or fancy to it, although the guns do feel impactful when you do use them. However, the game really shines when you start using the stratagems, such as a 500 kilogram bomb. I don't have any footage of that currently, but you'll get it when you see it. The call-ins range from electrical strikes to orbital lasers to actual napalm call-ins, and the system does a very good job of creating destruction and havoc throughout the planet. Now that the description is out of the way, why have I made a comparison to Outriders for the game? As many people remember, Outriders was completely covered in bugs that made the game damn near unplayable. However, that is not going to be the comparison that we make today. However, that's going to be the first thing that people go to because that's the thing that they remember most about Outriders. The thing that I remember most about Outriders was for the people that could play the game, the in-game seemed very lacking in direction because you could make your builds, but there wasn't really anything else to supply you other than grinding and finishing out all of the access and things that were available in the game and grabbing all the weapons and gear that you could, and that was it. HellDivers 2 brings upon the same thing when it comes to there's no real storyline for the game. And by storyline, I mean an actual arcing storyline where you're talking to NPCs and doing cutscenes and things of that nature. That's not, however, what the game was designed for, but because it isn't there, it makes it difficult to make a connection as to why to continue to do anything in the game after you've collected everything. This makes the game very punishing for casual players because in order to get some of the higher ranking stuff in the game, you need to be able to do the higher levels in the game, and that's just not really achievable when you're a casual player. You either have to go hard into HellDivers and collect everything and get all the points that go through the maximum levels in either to reach endgame, or you have to be satisfied with the fact that you're going to be limited in the things that you can do. The good news is that even the developers and the CEO of the company have stated that they know that people are going to be playing their game and doing everything in it and then setting it down and then coming back for updates, and they welcome it. They are not interested in doing a live service model in which they're trying to keep you there all the time. They want you to be happy with the game on your own pace when you want to, and I thought that was a pretty cool statement. However, the game does boast having a live GM model, which I really wish there was a more larger presence or marker in the game to let you know when the GM has changed or evolved the game in some form or fashion. Right now, if you don't see the information from an influencer on YouTube or have joined their Discord, which not everybody can do, there's no telling when Joel is going to actually change anything. And so far, from what we understand, Joel is the GM. With all these things taken into consideration, there has been a shift in the actual community in which there have been some people that you can call elitists within the game that have created a toxic environment. Now, that doesn't speak to the entirety of the game because the majority of the game is actually quite fun, barring that you have a crew of people to play the game with. Sadly, the game has the same problem that I have with a good portion of these co-op games, which is if your friends aren't involved, it can get rather boring as the matchmaking just kind of shoves you into groups, and some of them will even kick you if you're not running the loadouts that they want. So this game really shines if you're someone that has a group of players that will play the game with you on a regular basis. The game has enough content in it, and it is a completionist dream because you will want to collect everything that you can in it, which involves you pushing your team harder and harder. Friendly fire is turned on in the game, which results in some hilarity when some of your teammates are inside of one of your rocket barrages, and even though you have not done it intentionally, it will not stop you from pissing yourself from laughing. So at the end of the day, my overall opinion is that the game is definitely worth $40, and it is nowhere near the disappointment that it is for Outriders. The game steadily holds a spot on the top 10 chart for regular players, and at 6 o'clock in the morning, the game currently has 150,000 some odd players already in the game. The game succeeded where Outriders did not, and even though they are not the same kind of game, the problem for the end game is the same, which so far HellDivers has managed to tackle by producing a live service model and changing up the war on us on a weekly and sometimes daily basis. On top of that, the team has listened to their player base regularly and the reports that they have gotten and have actively worked to fix bugs on a basis that would not be considered slow by any means. They've been very transparent about what they're doing as well, which makes me have a higher amount of respect for this team, and I'm very happy to say that they've been successful just by doing what we have always asked, which is to please listen to what we're telling you. Every game will have its downfalls and upfalls. The downfalls for this game is just simply how long it takes to grind everything and how difficult the challenging levels can be if you're a solo player. Other than that, this game provides an immense amount of fun for almost anybody for any kind of thing that they want to get out of a video game, because HellDivers has a little bit of everything that can fit the bill for everybody that likes to complete or blow up or make progress. Thank you guys for checking out the video today. I know this is kind of a weird one. It was made really early in the morning, and I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your week. We'll try to get something out this weekend for another video if I can get some more time. There's been a shift in our family to third shift for some things, so it's been kind of wreaking havoc on us. So for the meantime, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.